Finish this thought. It wouldn't be Christmas without
Presents.
candy.
Chocolate chip and milk cookies.
Elves.
Man, I was very excited to do this podcast. That answer just went so many different directions. No, let's not get into that. Well, let's get into it.
Not bad, Amber Khan.
That was good.
That only took us 50 tries to actually get that question.
I couldn't
Mehamene.
speak, okay? I was tongue-tied.
That made me mess up my answer too.
Mehamene.
You were like, Christmas with
cookies, milk, chocolate. Yes.
chicken.
Okay, so let's go over these answers real quick. Cookies and milk or chocolate and milk?
Yeah, because it's just cozy. It's Christmas.
Yeah, Santa
Okay.
gets
Santa.
the Santa.
Right,
yeah.
gets
right.
the chocolate and milk.
Good job.
I chose candy because my mom, the day after Christmas, buys a whole bunch of candy, 75% off.
Oh, from
And we have-
Halloween?
From Christmas.
Oh.
Halloween
Yeah,
deals.
yeah. So
Like candy canes.
No, like candy, like hollow Santas.
I'm gonna give you a big
Halloween?
thumbs down for that answer. That's a very Halloween answer.
Oh wow, really? Okay, but like you don't get chocolate Santas for Halloween, so thank you very much. Go ahead, Shami.
I don't get chocolate Santas on Christmas.
Presents. I mean, all kids will say presents, right? That's like a
Presents was a very
Generic.
easy go-to answer.
yeah.
And it was
What do you
Stedamo.
want me to say?
Cole.
Yeah, you deserve coal now.
Yeah, you should have said Cole.
No,
Not
you,
elves.
Shams.
Me?
You get,
Why?
you get coal now.
He is on the naughty
Presents is
list.
true genetics.
I said present. She said cookies and milk.
I would
That's
put SHAH-AMEER on the naughty list just because
No,
he tries too hard to be nice. You know, he's one of those kids.
Acha.
No,
Yeah.
he's
It's all
Give him coal.
natural.
Give him coal.
It's
Go
natural.
ahead, Frost. What was yours?
Mine was elves.
Okay, just because
Why?
it's in
you
the
need
air.
you need elves.
Where do you
Okay.
see elves?
You look
You
like
seen
an
an elf in real life?
Yeah,
You look like
it's
it.
me.
Literally.
Guys, welcome to another episode of Strange Flavors. This is brought to you by Alif Theory. We got our guest co-host with us back for the 5th time.
Gang, gang,
It's
gang.
my sister Neha.
Hi.
AKA Appa.
My name is Faras.
My name is Amber.
My name is Shimmer.
Do you wanna? Or
I
already
was introduced
you.
already,
Yeah.
so thank you.
Yeah.
She's got things going for her.
I didn't
Wow.
think Amber was gonna say that.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Good job.
This
Yeah,
is Neha's
guys.
5th time, by the way. 6th time.
7th. I don't even know at this point.
She's been on here more than me.
True.
If you're a new listener, we've got a great lineup of guests coming up. Today's was amazing. We'll tell you more about him later. But just be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram. We're Strange Flavors on both things. And if you or somebody that you know makes music, you can email us your songs if you're a band, rapper, whatever. And we'll actually play it on the podcast
If you're
between
good.
the transitions.
Just kidding.
And that email is strangeflavorspodcast@gmail.com. What were you going to say?
She said if you're good.
If you're good,
Now, if you're on the come up, we respect that.
Yeah.
Or if you do an Amber thing.
I wish we could
That was
insert
good.
that somehow.
That was amazing.
yeah. We're going to be doing a strange exchange on the next episode, like we've been doing. We did one the last month, and you guys liked that. So we're going to be doing that again. And guess what? We are doing another giveaway.
Oh, snap.
And
Christmas.
this one is
All I want
even
for
higher quality
Christmas
shirts.
Is a
No
giveaway.
way.
So you know Mariah Carey makes like $500,000 every year
Oh, I'm
just on
sure.
that song.
Oh,
Yep.
I'm sure.
Imagine never having to work a day in your life because of one song.
Man,
Amazing.
That
I
is
mean,
dope.
Is that how you feel with Packy Gang? No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, we have retired.
We are
officially.
viral boys.
Viral boys. Virus.
Virus.
Yeah, so stay tuned for the next episode, and we will be doing the giveaway. And if you follow us on our social media, you can
Social
stay.
media.
Social media.
Stay
No one can talk
updated.
today.
Shashel.
Yeah. So okay, I wanted to first of all say thank you both so much, Amber and
God.
Shimmer,
Oh, okay.
for me getting all these dead rat pics sent to me.
Yes, yes. Wait,
Do you
people
understand?
have been sending
People
you
have
dead
been sending
rat.
me dead rat.
That's amazing.
Dead
Thank
rat
you, guys. Keep it
pictures,
up. Keep it up.
Snapchat on Snapchat, Instagram, and dead rat videos. I like.
Keep
I
it
don't-
up, guys. I'm very
You
impressed.
don't
love
understand
y'all.
how many I've gotten.
Keep it up. Just
Started
keep
from the
sending them.
vlog. Now it's now
Did you,
I'm
did
about
you
to
think
start
you
it.
was,
the
did you think you
podcast.
started off all sentimental? Like you were like, oh, he's about to thank us or something?
Yeah.
I
You
was
were
like,
touched.
wait,
Yeah,
what?
you were like, this never happens.
I'm about to
Wow.
start blocking people. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, on the last Strange Exchange, we were talking about how it was a dead
It was a
rats
rat
versus
versus
tarantula
tarantula, yeah.
conversation, and pretty much they were like, yeah, if you're listening, go send FARAS dead rat pictures. And
So keep sending them.
Whoop, whoop.
and
Send
if
it.
you guys
And
keep that
send
up,
them
like,
in.
I'm
Sending.
about to start blogging.
Keep sending.
Honestly,
Okay.
that should be the giveaway.
No chill.
Yeah, that should be the
In order to enter, you have to send FARAS a dead
Dead
rat.
rat pic.
You know who is a rat? Is apparently Keaton. Have you guys heard of this kid Keaton? His
Yes,
mom?
yeah.
the bully
His mom, yeah.
thing.
Right.
Yes.
So if you don't know, Keaton, he was this kid that was getting bullied in school. His mom made a video about it, and
it was viral.
It went viral. He was saying how he doesn't, how you should be nice to everybody and everybody deserves equal respect. And what happened was that his mother was apparently making like $60,000 off of
His GoFundMe or something.
something like
and
that.
then aren't they
a
also
lot of
bringing him out to
celebrities-
Vegas?
They're bringing him out to a lot of things. A lot of celebrities
Celebrities.
contacted him, taking pictures with him, and saying like, I just saw one recently with Chris Evans, who plays Captain America, was like, "Hey Chris, you and your mom are invited to the Avengers screening." So it's like all this stuff. But I want to know what you guys think about it. Like,
Finish the story.
well, that's it. I mean,
Yeah.
it was that his mom.
There was a lot of hate about
there was
it.
a lot
though.
of-
yeah.
I mean, when I first
I'd
saw
love
it,
to
I was pretty touched, and then like a couple people shared it with me. They were like, "Yo," because it said like tag 3 people or whatnot, and so I was like, "Oh, this is pretty sad." And then I started hearing. I didn't look much into it, but I started hearing stories from other people like, "Oh, this kid is trash," or like, "This kid's mom is like doing something really bad."
Also,
I wasn't
some
sure.
people were like, rather than bringing him out to Vegas, like do something about spreading awareness and stuff. Like, why are you making something out of a kid?
Yeah.
Off of a video. But
Yeah, but I've heard like the mom was racist or something.
Like
Yeah, there was
Confederate
Confederate
flags.
flags and pictures that Keaton was in as well.
Yeah.
But
like at the end of the day,
It's-
he's a kid.
Yeah.
And he has nothing to do with those. Like, granted, his mom, like, I don't think that Keaton did anything wrong. His mom might be a snake. But, like, he himself, like, nobody needs to say anything to him because he's a kid and he has no choice over who his mother is.
and the video was pretty genuine. Like, you could literally
Yeah.
tell that his feelings were really hurt by these people,
Yeah.
like making fun
it wasn't
of the way
cool
he
that his
looks.
mom's trying to like benefit off of it
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
But even if he's
My mom
posing
should have
with-
jumped on this train when I was being bullied. Honestly.
even
He'd
if
be famous right now.
even if he is holding a Confederate flag or whatever, like he's by one or his friends do that, like he's a kid and he's gonna do whatever he's been taught, right?
Whatever
And
he's
it's like,
around. That's not his
It's
fault.
his
Yeah.
mom's fault. So yeah, that's crazy. This SHAH-AMEER, you have Eminem, G-Eazy, and Brockhampton listed down under things that you wanted to
Yeah,
discuss. Some new albums there.
some new albums.
Drop.
They all came out on the first or last Friday.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty cool. Eminem, I think a lot of people were hyped for that.
Yeah, did you get a chance to listen?
I did twice.
Yeah. What'd you think?
We were listening to it on the way here.
I don't know. I wasn't too impressed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wasn't too impressed.
Did you?
Because the first couple times, it's all about melodies. You can't really digest the lyrics. I'm sure there's great lyrics, but in terms of melodies, I think that was kind of lackluster.
Okay.
In terms of like actual the song composure
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Out of his recent stuff, I actually really liked this one.
Wow.
Which you guys know that I have been saying like
Yeah,
I'm
you
just a
haven't been
huge fan
liking
of like the
him
old
recently.
stuff and but this new one, it was just like, I guess if you've been following for a while and you follow his lyrics and stuff, whenever there's like context that leads to like old stuff, there's like little Easter eggs and
Yeah.
stuff. Like he talks about Mockingbird and like he refers to like Kim and
Yeah.
Haley
Yeah.
every other track, and then every other track is like about politics, Trump and Kaepernick and all that,
Yeah.
which was kind of interesting because I was like, how does this correlate with like the album as a whole? But I guess
Yeah.
that theme was there. It was like, every other song is either about politics or Kim and Haley and whatever else is going on. But the
I didn't
last
listen
song,
to it, but he apologized to her, right? Apologized
There's-
to Kim. I saw a Twitter moment
well,
about it. I didn't listen to
he
it.
goes off on her and then he also
What?
roasts her.
Is this the girl who's like a 4.0 student and everything?
What?
Haley?
Haley?
That's
no,
not
he
her.
that's
roast
his
her.
daughter.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
roast
Kim
her.
is his ex-wife.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
I
Who
thought
he's-
you said he was going off on Haley. I was like,
No,
I
no,
thought she
no,
was like
no.
the perfect child.
Which, you know what's insane is like Haley is 22. She's our age, and it's
What?
like
Wow.
anytime I hear because I still listen to like all the old Eminem songs, and I still imagine like Haley being a little,
A daughter?
Yeah,
little girl, but
little
she's
girl.
literally our age, and that's
Yeah.
crazy. Like,
And she's smart.
Yeah.
Apparently, like she's
Yeah.
made it. I'm saying
4.0.
apparently a lot today
Apparently.
because we were
Apparently.
On
making
your
fun
mind.
of Noah, who's the apparently kid earlier. But yeah, like she's you know, from what it says on the news and everything, like she's turned out really really well. And their last song, if you listen to the last two, they actually like go together in a really really creative way. And he's like writing letters to Haley, which anytime Eminem is writing a letter in a song, bars,
Yeah.
like it's done. But I mean, for
Has
what it
Haley
was,
ever been in like social media or anything like that?
I
Like
have no idea.
I wonder like what her relationship.
I really
like
want to
with
know.
it, from
I
her
hope that
point
she
of
comes
view.
out one day with
Yeah,
an
that'd
interview
be
or
cool.
something.
I
It
think
would
there
be
was
amazing.
I think those pictures of her like going to prom.
Yeah, I did
Prom
see
and
those.
graduation.
Right.
Prom and graduation, and then someone like
But even
memed,
that would be like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Or 4 or 5
Yeah,
years ago.
it was
at
a
least.
while ago, and someone memed like, "Yo, if the boyfriend breaks up with her or something, like
Eminem's about
Eminem's
to go
gonna
out.
go."
Also, he's on
It'd
tour
be scary.
tour next year. He hasn't been on tour in a while.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
think
Yeah.
so. I was seeing
He
it on
does
my
stuff
Facebook.
here and there, like.
But this is like a legit tour. I
Yeah.
saw like it being on my Facebook. Like, 2018 is like a big year for him, so he's traveling a lot.
Yeah,
and doing
I
a
just
lot of
like I
shows.
just liked his honesty in it. That was my main thing. Was like
Oh,
he
yeah,
knows that
definitely.
he's not as, you know, whatever everybody else expects him to be, but he's the GOAT.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I loved "Walk on Water." I mean, like a lot of people, when I first heard that song, I was
Yeah.
like, "This is crazy," because he's just literally writing his heart out.
Yeah,
And-
which that's cool. I didn't like the song itself, but I liked his lyrics.
Yeah.
and that was cool. And he has another song in this this album that was like Rap God, where he like starts spitting
Oh,
like
yeah,
crazy,
yeah, yeah.
which was Offended. That was a good one. But this whole album, like the vibe of it, if you want to know what it's like, is like it's Marshall Mathers LP2 mixed with like Relapse. It was the
Yeah.
same exact, like, because he goes and samples like some old rock songs, like
Yeah.
We
There's a
Will
lot of
Rock You
yeah,
and stuff
rock
like that,
melodies.
which it's pretty sweet.
Did you
but-
watch his Goalcast video that I tagged you
Yeah,
in?
yeah, yeah.
He
That was
literally
good.
like memorized dictionaries before
Yeah.
like going up
Oh, yeah.
and doing all that. I was like, wow. Like
Pretty insane.
when you like get to really read about his story. I mean, I've always respected him, but
Yeah.
that was just like crazy, next
Yeah.
level.
G-Eazy and Brockhampton, how do you rate their new albums out of 5 stars?
I thought G-Eazy was, I mean, not as great as I thought it'd be. His singles were really good. Brockhampton honestly was like a 5 because it's just their story. Like they're all 22-year-olds, all completely independent, and they dropped 3 albums this year, and this was their 3rd album, and they charted. And
Okay.
they're completely independent, no
And they're
promotion
supposed
at
to be
all.
like a boy band,
They're a boy band, and like they
but
have
in hip hop scene.
in hip hop scene, and
Which is interesting.
they're
Interesting.
and they trended globally on Twitter, and
Wow.
they have videos that have less views than our videos, which is
Wow.
insane.
Yeah, and it's also like what's cool about them. SHAH-AMEER sent me this interview where they talk about their whole team. So it's not like in rap groups like G Unit or, you know, the ASAP Mob or whatever it may be. They don't call themselves like that type of thing. They call themselves a boy band, like One
Yeah.
Direction or something.
Yeah.
And part of that is their creative team. So like literally the designers and everybody, they include that.
They
like,
include the part of the
whereas
boy band, yeah.
usually, you know, an artist is completely separate than their marketing department or whatever, but they're like, we want to be the Apple of like creators or whatever, like of the rap scene or whatever they said. But that was really cool to me.
We should talk about the fact that you guys have reached over 1 million views and you guys coming back on Facebook.
That's true.
That
So
was pretty epic. I mean, it was like, even for someone who's a listener of your guys' music, like that was an emotional roller coaster.
So in the past week,
yeah.
the video got taken down.
So this is referring to Packy Gang,
Yeah. So
which
in the
was a
last
parody
week,
of
yeah,
Gucci Gang that we made.
that we talked about last week, and the video went down, and then it went back up, and there was
Went
like
down
a whole,
with no reason.
it went down with no reason, and like there was a lot of people like rooting for you guys, like a lot of people,
Like lawyers,
Lawyers.
fans being like,
There's
I know
an article written
someone.
about it.
Yeah, it was controversial. But
The coolest
good.
part was the non-Pakistani people that were standing up for it, including Indians, who, like, you know, are famous for not liking Pakistan. There's this rivalry that's always been there between the countries, and there was a lot of Indians that were supporting
Yeah,
what
that
we
was
do
really cool.
creatively, and they were like, you know, this is awesome, this is dope, no matter what anybody says, and that was really cool to see.
Yeah.
But like, how about you guys? Like, how did
How do
you
you guys
feel
feel
when it
about
was
all
like
this?
taken down and then now
so
that it's back
I think
up?
I was the first one to see it, and it was like early in the morning.
It's like
I think
7 in the morning.
Yeah, it was like
you
7 in the
text us.
morning, and I was checking like every day, like see how the videos were doing, see how people were responding, and so I looked and then I clicked on the notification. I was like, sorry, this post does not exist anymore. And I'm like, you're kidding me. Like, and then I noticed that it's gone, and I was really upset. I was like, dang. And then like 30 minutes later, I was like, okay, I was like, okay, let me try to see the positive. Maybe people will search.
You went through like the stages of death and
Yeah.
denial.
I was like, maybe people will start searching for it on YouTube, which is what happened.
Yeah.
And like, I tried to research a lot on Facebook, like, oh, what's the possible thing? But there's no,
Yeah,
guarantee.
I feel like Facebook should do a better job of like communicating to people. But sorry for us. Go ahead.
No.
But I feel like it's because of the people that it came back up too.
Yeah.
So that was
Yeah.
really cool. I mean, I don't really know the reason why, but that was really cool. Like the day it came back on, I know I was silently celebrating.
I was also pissed. I was like,
celebrating.
Facebook, why are you gonna like remove this? What if this is people's like actual job? I mean, like,
Right.
we don't take it as seriously as them, but I mean, we kind of do. But
like, yeah,
it's like if
people
we,
have-
made a bunch of money off of this, then like that would suck. That all our views just get cut off right there.
And also, like, Facebook was trying to, like, not compete with YouTube all the way, but they also want creators on Facebook. And if they do something like that, YouTube demonetizes. They don't remove,
Yeah,
like,
they don't-
that. They
yeah.
don't, like, they will remove the audio, like,
Yeah.
sometimes. But, like, I haven't even seen that happen in years. Like,
Yeah.
Facebook needs to get its ish together because now the other one that had over 300,000 views on Pakistani entertainment, that one got taken.
650,000.
650,000 views,
Yeah.
and that got taken down too.
Yeah.
And that's sad.
It's about to come back though.
And just to
Call it.
let you guys know, like, why, speculations of what could have happened. First of all, the reason that, like, why it could have gotten removed, it wasn't because of copyright. We know that because there's been copyright notices before that we've gotten for stuff where it'll be like, just confirm that this is a parody, and then you can post it back up, and then it'll happen. Or the label will reach out and be like, hey, we don't accept this or whatever. And that's happened with one of our videos before where they were like, we don't count this as a parody. This is an entirely new song, which it was a parody, but they just didn't understand that the language, translation was in parody, but I guess,
Right.
but whatever. So we didn't get a copyright notice. And the other thing is that parody music is allowed. It's legal
Yeah.
under the law. People like Weird Al Yankovic have made their entire careers off of it, made a lot of
True.
money off of it. You're allowed to parody work. So that's not a problem. And that's not the notice that we got. There was a community guideline notice that we got that said, please review this guideline. And this is why your video may have been removed. And under the guidelines, it's things like, offensive material. And so what probably happened is that the word packy got registered in some sort of Facebook algorithm.
Right.
And since it got so much attention and everything like that, it could have either gotten removed because Facebook picked out that word, or
People
that
might have
people
been reporting
reported it. And the thing with that word is that in the history of it, it's been used by the British to refer to the Pakistanis or like the Muslims out of India as the Pakis in a derogatory form. But the thing is with that is like growing up in America, that's not what it meant to us. And
It's
that's,
just literally the shorter version of
it's-
Pakistani.
Yeah, and that's what we refer
It's
to
an
ourselves
identifier.
as. So
Yeah,
it's
like
not
how we identify ourselves.
to us. It's not an
It's
offensive
kind
thing.
of the
and
same thing
we're-
as like British.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
nothing more or less than
And to
that.
be and to be fair, it's like there's tons of videos on YouTube, both by celebrities, big labels, and everything that use the N word, which is
Absolutely.
offensive to some people, but also
Right.
empowering to others. And the same thing with the word packy. Like I didn't even know it was a derogatory
I
term
didn't
till later
either.
on in my life because that's how we grew up using that word. But because it is, after I found out that it is, I'm like, you know what? I want to like rebrand this word and empower ourselves with it. I'm proud to call myself a Paki and
Yeah.
everybody around me. And it's like the thing is when people around you, like non-Pakistanis, like white people in America, if they don't know that the word could be a derogatory term and they call you that, then it's not going to be an issue ever.
Yeah.
They would never even know that could be used in a bad way, and they would never use it in that way.
Right.
So yeah, I mean that's the thing behind it. But
But congratulations still on a job well done and reaching
Yeah.
out to
Over a
so
million
many
views,
people
like,
everywhere. Yeah.
we're just super humbled by like all the attention, all the support behind it, and all these articles that have been covering
Huffington
us for it.
Post.
So it's been awesome, and like whether it got removed or whatever, we weren't expecting this, and we're just like super honored and blessed for all of this.
Whoop, whoop.
Nice.
What's up?
Speaking of people with clout, we got a big time guest with us today.
Oh snap.
and if you want to know like how we bring on guests on the show, this kind of explains how like random it can be and how out of nowhere that these true strangers will come out of. But this is one that I'm definitely like thankful that I kind of ran into, and you'll hear the story. But his name is Charlie Peacher. He's a well-known and very talented photographer in the Baltimore music scene. He's got some crazy stories to tell us that he has with different celebrities and rappers. Yeah. And so yeah, let's hear these crazy stories from him and hear how he's gotten into all this. Everybody, please welcome Charlie Peacher. So this is In Your Lane. What'd you say?
Sort of. Yeah, it's
Okay.
more comfortable. I hate
More
radio.
comfortable.
Yes.
It's way more comfortable.
Except,
Most people say that chair is
yeah,
terrible.
that's what I was gonna say. People
I
are
switched
always
it
like,
out.
It's better than a radio station.
people are always like, oh, you guys get the couches, we get the interrogation seat.
And we're like, we have to look at you.
Yeah, we do.
It is kind of weird now that you say
Aw,
that.
dang
I
it.
shouldn't
It
have
doesn't
said
have
that. I shouldn't have said that.
It's not weird. Don't worry.
Why don't you tell them how we met?
I ran up to you at Lee's Landing because I guess your brother had Ian Connor revenge shirt, and it was like a mix between a Ian Connor and Drake shirt. And I was like, is that an Ian Connor shirt? Because nobody in Cecil County would know who Ian Connor is, and he's like a huge fashion designer.
I actually had the shirt on, but it
Oh,
was
you
my
had the
brother's.
shirt on. Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. And I was like, where did you get that? Because it's a revenge shirt, like, and
We were in
and
Happy
none of-
Grace, was it?
It was at Lee's Landing,
Oh,
Dock
okay,
Bar,
okay.
and like Port Deposit. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. That's
I was
right.
in
Yeah.
Cecil County. I was like, no one knows.
Yeah, there was
Even
all
in-
like old people there.
Yeah.
And then you ran up.
Yeah, I was just
and-
getting some shrimp,
I was like,
and I was like,
oh God, what is he about to do? And
Yeah.
then you're just like, yo, nice shirt. I was like, hey, your shirt finally came in clutch. Because I actually have no idea about any of that stuff, like the
Yeah.
hype culture. And my brother was like, afterwards, he's like, see, that's what happens.
Yeah.
And then we,
and he didn't even know who it was either.
Yeah,
he
he
had
didn't know
no
who-
idea who
yeah.
Ian Connor was, and I hope he read up on it. Shout out to Ian Connor.
and we looked up, we exchanged like Instagrams, I guess, right there, and it was like, yo, like it came in clutch.
I thought I was some bull.
How, how many friends have you made through like just that type of thing where you like, you know,
All of them.
all of them?
Pretty much all of them. No one
Like-
comes up to you, really. So I'm the one that's always like at festivals and things like that. I'm just like, dude, what's
You
up?
got
dude?
this on.
What's up, man? I've seen you, and you're the one that asked Ben Carson if Young Metro doesn't trust you. Like, you know, things like that. Like,
Yeah.
everyone that I see, I always have to go up to him.
Yeah. So if somebody doesn't have like, you know, one of those hype brands on, then it's like they have a less chance of meeting you.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Well-
I gotta step my game up.
Or just
I
always
love
wear
wearing my
Dollar's
brother's
clothes.
stuff, yeah.
Always wear his clothes.
I was drinking too, and that definitely, I talk to everybody when I drink.
True.
There you go.
There
Because there's a lot to talk about.
Even better.
So yeah, we went through your Instagram, and immediately I started noticing like
Who haven't
So,
you taken a picture of?
Literally.
all these people that you have on your Instagram. Like, wait, are these your pictures? And then you were like, yeah, like
Yep.
this
everyone.
is kind of what I do and everything. When did you first start taking photos of like these big artists?
The big artists randomly around Baltimore in like 2011, but I'd say
You've been a photographer before that though, like
yeah, just randoms. I mean, I was not allowed when I was younger. My parents never got me a camera or anything like that. So when I saved up to get the first camera, that was like I'd say 09 and 2010.
how old were you?
I graduated high school.
Wait,
09.
why did you want to get a camera?
I've always loved it. I've
Okay.
always loved photography and always wanted to take pictures. Like I got one camera when I was younger and then I broke it,
Dang.
and then
Dreams were crushed.
yeah, and then
Except
I
now.
was just like, you know what? If I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it. I've always known I wanted to do it without
Wow.
Wow.
actually having a camera.
That's crazy.
So then the big artists came in when? Like you started going to music festivals and
My friend
concerts and stuff?
Jason he was a huge help. He still is to this day. I mean, when you see on my Instagram, it's like management J Holes 410. Shout out to him. But
Shout out.
he's the like pretty much social media manager for a lot of big hip hop websites. So he would just get me in every one of these shows for KarenCivil.com, and then whether or not the site used it or not, you know, he also did like stuff with Hot New Hip Hop and things like that. So
Were you friends with him prior, or did you meet him through something?
I met him through another rapper whose name is Malik Farad. Shout out to him. And I found him because he was on there was an old Baltimore rap video called Baltimore.
Okay.
TRP. And his name was Money back in the day. And I was like, did the same thing. Like, hey, dude, I saw you in that at Bourbon Street. Hey, I saw you in that music video. What's up? And then he invited me over to his house because I wanted to take photos and things like that. And then Jason, he met through in Ocean City somewhere. And Jason wanted to be a part of the whole thing that he was doing, but he didn't know what to do. And then Malik just showed him, like, okay, this is how this works, this is how this works, this is how this works. And Jason just went full force and kind of is now doesn't work, doesn't like just full on
Manages?
J-holes. Like, yeah, manages. Okay. Like, he's
Wow.
How do you even get
Part
into that
managers of
conversation? Like,
K-Camp.
you want to, do you go up to somebody and say like, hey, like, I'd love to take pictures of you? Or
Yeah. How do you like approach
At-
these people?
It depends. If it's at a show, usually they don't ask me. Usually it's me working for a website or something like that. But if it's someone's portrait, then I'll literally just run up on them
Wow.
and
And
be like, hey man,
what was like the first, big artist that you took pictures of?
the portrait or the concert?
either one,
Either
like,
one,
what was the
yeah.
bit, like,
Yeah.
that blew up or got some attention that
And that you're like,
you weren't
oh, this is
expecting?
viable.
It was, well, you guys probably wouldn't know who it was, but it's a band called Good Old War. And the drummer messaged me on Facebook and was like, hey, I like your photos. And I had this is actually, I forgot about this, but I was like really excited because that's one of my favorite bands of all time. And then he asked me to do his New Year's Eve show in Philly, and it was a sold out show at the Theater of Living Arts, TLA. And I went there and I was like, damn, I don't have a camera. So I bought I got a camera first, went there, and then messed up all the pictures.
Oh.
And it was horrible.
And were you assigned to do this, or this was like something you were?
He got, like, I was taking pictures on like my iPhone 3.
Uh-huh.
And he liked my pictures from that. And he knew I was a fan.
So you were like invited back.
This was the original, like.
Oh, okay.
And that's the first time.
The ones that he liked.
He didn't like any of them because
Wait,
none
so
of them
when you
came
messed
out.
up the pictures, what do you mean you messed them up?
None of them came out good.
And why?
Because I didn't know how to use a camera. That's when I got my DSLR. That's when I got the camera. Was when he asked me to do it, and I just pushed and spent like $2,000 on the lens and camera, and I was just like, all right, well, that's it. And I was like heartbroken because that was like one of my favorite bands of all time.
Wow.
And then after that, I was like, I'm never letting that feeling happen again.
So
And
what did he say? Like, what did they respond to you when you
where's
showed
my
them
pictures?
the
Where's my pictures? I didn't show him the pictures because they were so bad.
Oh.
Yeah. So I 4 years later, they were at a festival, and I reclaimed myself, which was a really good feeling. And I saw them, and I was like, hey, what's up, man? And they were just like, hey, what's up? and they liked the pictures then because I was a lot better, but that feeling was crazy. That was horrible.
How do you were talking earlier about like, you either run up on people or whatever, but like, where are a majority of your photos taken? Are you like in the audience at different venues or anything, or it's just like backstage?
I'm always in the pit.
You're always in the pit?
Most of the time I'm in the pit. Like, the way that shows work with photographers, it's either you have all access or a photo pass. So if you have a photo pass, you have most likely the first 2 or 3 songs. If you're lucky, you get the whole set. But after the 2-3 songs are up, you're done.
Okay.
And then you have to go home. You don't have to go home. You can stay.
And is this
but
something that like you have to have through some sort of
some type
magazine or blog or
of
website?
Websites, yeah.
Like verified or something?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
these
unless,
websites and places send you.
unless the venue knows you. Yeah, which is rare.
And is it like, does it work that certain musicians have their own like photographer and like will invite them back that they like their pictures or something?
A lot of times artists won't accept any websites or anything like that because they have their own photographer. And that happens as like Solange. doesn't allow anyone but like 2 photographers.
So you're not allowed to take her photos, like.
No,
it's just
I Made in America.
specifically-
She was the only one that I couldn't take pictures of.
Oh,
Dang.
that's
Yeah.
interesting. I see Drake sometimes on Instagram will like have, he like tags.
Drake's another one.
What like he won't have.
It's
other
it's
people?
rare that.
No,
like,
but what I was gonna say is like he reposts Instagram pictures that he's tagged in, I guess.
Mhm.
But then he'll tag the photographer when it's like I think like Scudra or something, or somebody a part of his team. But otherwise, he just like reposts like random photos that other people took.
And then you'll
So I
see
don't
the
know how that
photographer. Let me
works.
get some credit. Let me get some credit, bro.
Yeah. Is that difficult to manage, like, when it comes to the whole credit thing, or like, getting compensated for
Yeah.
a nice picture? How do you
Yeah.
manage that?
You don't. You just deal with it and just continue to grow. Like I always wanted to write a book called Credit. It's like,
True.
but I mean, no one. I mean, they don't. No one owes you anything. You know what I mean? Like you're there taking pictures of their life. Like as a photographer, you're just if they like your picture, then in your head just applaud that, because at the end of the day, no one owes you credit. No one owes you anything.
Yeah.
That's a good mentality to have, because it's like, a lot of people
I've
these
been
days.
doing it
it's
for
like,
so long. It's
Yeah.
just like, oh, it's
So you've gained quite a following on like Instagram and stuff like that. Do you just like post pictures of these artists, and is that how they kind of grew?
It's crazy because the following ended up like I'd say half of my followers came from after Rolling Loud in Miami. And after that, Complex would post my stuff, Genius post my stuff, XXL post my stuff. So
there you get the credit, right?
now it's like they all follow me,
Okay.
and every time I post a picture, they'll see it, and then
Decide to
I
use
can
it or
I
not?
can actually DM them and be like, hey, can I get some credit? And they're just like, yeah, definitely, of course.
What was like the first time that one of those big blog news websites used your
Drake.
phone?
It was Drake.
was Drake?
It wasn't. It was a picture of Drake.
Okay.
On Complex.
Oh wow! And
Yeah.
what were your thoughts like? Were you
I
just
was
like, wow.
pumped. I was so excited.
Where was that?
It was at South by Southwest when he just popped up randomly. Like it was a rumor that he was going to be there.
Mhm.
It wasn't a known thing. But the thing is, if it's rumored that a big artist is going to be at one of these small spaces,
Yeah.
you got to be there like all day.
Mm.
And I camped out there like all day with Jason, and he brought everybody from OVO, Party Next Door. I can't even think of any, but
And it
everyone.
was worth it.
It was definitely worth it.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
And how often do you get to actually like hang out with the celebrities after either you take their photos?
I mean, I have so many random stories. Like, I watched like at Made in America one time. I watched Rihanna play with Jay Electronica because I couldn't take pictures of Rihanna, 1 year. But it's weird. Like I'm right next to Jay Electronica talking about random stuff. And then
how does that happen?
they're not allowed backstage for Rihanna either. So they're just in this area.
Oh, really? Like he came to watch her?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. That's how it happens a lot of times. Like, the biggest one was Firefly when Paul McCartney played, because no one was allowed for Paul McCartney. So they just put all the artists and all the media people in just one little area to watch Paul McCartney. So there was like Empire of the Sun in there. There was Chitty Bang.
Wow.
I was just like, oh my God, this is crazy.
You must be really good at like initiating conversations.
I am now. It was.
I would just be fanboying all the
Yeah.
time. And I wouldn't know what
I'd
to
be like,
say.
oh my
like,
gosh, I love your music.
if it's
Thank you."
appropriate to say anything, if they get annoyed. Do they
Yeah.
usually get annoyed, or are they just chill?
Sometimes, yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes. I mean, I've gotten a lot better with calming myself.
True.
You gotta really calm yourself in those situations.
How do you usually approach a conversation?
It depends on the person.
Okay.
But
Who are like some of your favorite people that you've met? Some really cool people.
the crazy. I don't know.
You have
That's
a lot of pictures with them.
Yeah.
So we were looking at your Polaroids before starting the podcast, and you have quite a few with like big time
Yeah.
people.
There's so many that I've met. It's crazy. Like it's crazy meeting the people and then watching them grow. Because when I met Migos, they weren't the Migos they were today. They were the guys that had the song Versace.
Right.
And Jason was interviewing him for Karen Civil. And I was like, all right, well, these guys are cool. And then now it's like, whoa. And then the first time I saw Travis Scott was at Ram's Head, and he was opening up for Juicy J. I went to see Juicy J, and I was in the crowd, and everybody started, like, that was the first time I ever saw a mosh pit at a rap show. I got a black eye, and I was like, who is this guy? This guy's sweet. This guy's awesome. He came out, there's a golden bike in the back of Ram's Head, and I was like, I'm always like, what is this golden bike doing here? I remember he rode out with it and just threw the bike in the crowd, and I was like, damn.
And this was opening for Juicy J. He did
This
that?
is just opening. Yeah, and I was like, and it was so much, like,
Travis Scott's
no
awesome.
offense to Juicy J, but that was so much of a better show, much better show than Juicy J put on. I was like,
Wow.
who is, I've never heard of Travis Scott ever.
How long
He had
ago
like
was this?
Quintana out and Mamacita. That was a long time ago. I don't even know. Like
When he was still probably like
when
just
when his hair
producing.
was like that long. Like but
What's
I jumped up on the merch table. I had a black eye. I was just like, dude, I got a black eye. Like, we need to take a picture.
Oh, that's all. And you got a picture of it?
Yeah, yeah. There's
Oh
a
my
picture
God,
of me
that's
going
so
like
sweet.
this.
That's awesome. What's like the craziest story you have, either backstage
It
or
was
whatever?
with Travis Scott. It was later in life. Like it's funny you asked that, because when I said like watching these guys grow, it was at a pop-up show it was during A3C in Atlanta, and it was a random like kind of like pop-up show, like mystery, who knows if he's going to show up type thing again. But he wasn't there because he wasn't even supposed to play any A3C shows. He was there for BET Music Awards, which was going on at the same time. So the BET Music Awards had to end, and then he had to come. So since it was a pop-up show, nobody knew like what was going on. The fire marshals weren't there, and there was like 700 sweaty kids in this one little packed bar. It was bad. Like there was kids passing out and things like that. And then he shows up, and the photo pit was just this metal bar. And I remember everybody starts just moshing and crowd surfing, and me and the photographers are holding this bar up, and we're like counting 1, 2, and like we had to run up on stage, and all these people fell.
Why'd you
And
have to run up?
Because
of the
because
people
the
in the
crowd like it was like one of those metal barricades, like
Oh, and then it
for traffic.
Fell over?
Like you know those things
yeah,
like
yeah.
that they put up temporarily. I'm like, this is not gonna work for this show.
Yeah.
And we had to, and he does not like photographers on stage, so I was scared. And we ran up, and then there was so many people, there was no stage, and I was like, oh man, the show's over. He still continued to perform with everybody on stage and everybody around, and I fell back and behind the light wall. T.I. had to help me up.
Oh my God.
That was the craziest.
What?
That was the craziest time when he showed up. He showed up with DJ Mustard, Audio Push, T.I., Tiny.
Wow.
Like everyone was
That's
there.
insane.
Yeah, the dude's Ali and Gip from the Grills video.
You have to tell us about this Snoop Dogg story.
Yeah.
Oh, the Snoop Dogg story.
Yeah.
It was a Game of Thrones mixtape release party. So Game of Thrones, like one of their earlier seasons, had a mixtape that came out with like Snoop Dogg and a whole bunch of people.
That's crazy.
And it was South by Southwest, and it was a really, really tiny bar. Like the room was probably this size, and it was like a wine and cheese bar, and they had the iron the chair there, and it was weird because he came and it was a DJ set, so he was
Okay.
just there smoking and DJing, and then Ty Dolla $ign was there, and we got a chance to interview him, and then he just passed the blunt, and I was really happy. I was like, damn.
So
That's-
you smoked weed with Snoop Dogg.
Technically, yeah. I mean, it wasn't like an
Wild.
intimate session, but hopefully one day.
It's a story.
It's a story.
That's
yeah.
on people's bucket list.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
the pictures
And it
to prove
happened.
it.
No way.
That's
yeah,
so awesome.
yeah, it's on my
Wow.
Instagram.
What's Gucci Mane like?
He was really nice. I mean, I didn't meet the old Gucci, but he's another person I saw walking towards with one of the guys from QC, P, and they were both talking, and I just saw him just coming my way, and I was like, man, I gotta get this portrait. And I just ran up. I was like, can I get a portrait? He's like, yeah. I was like, okay. That's it.
Okay.
Do you
Yeah.
have any like favorite like intimate like stories with like celebrities like that you kind of like hold on to or anything? Like what's the most wildest thing that's come out of all of this? Like,
It seems like being a photographer just gave you like opportunities to these types of things that like you would have never gotten otherwise.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, what do you value the most out of that, I guess?
I don't know, to be honest. Like, I have to think about that one for a second because there's so many things that I'm grateful for, and you know, and learning the camera and everything like that, my growth. I mean, seeing my old pictures of these guys, you know, I wish that I knew what I knew now. Then, you know, I mean, I've had a lot of opportunities even in the past where I wasn't hardly that good, which I really, really wish I was. But, you know, it's
How did you get good?
learning the equipment, to be honest. Like, everybody's like, oh, it's all about the art. I disagree. I mean, I think it's both. I think it's both the equipment and the art. Cause,
So were you like studying the camera, or were you learning by like experience?
I started renting a lot
Okay.
from borrowlenses.com, and I would rent all these different lenses and cameras and things like that. I even rented an underwater housing for my camera one time, and took pictures underwater with my 5D. And
Those
it
are
was-
expensive. I've
Yeah,
seen one
to
of those.
rent it was $500 for 7 days. I was like,
What?
but it was so worth it.
dang.
What did you take pictures of?
There's a giant Jesus statue in Key Largo in Florida, and yeah, it was a giant.
Enough said.
It was a giant, like, I just started watching the show Bloodline, and they had it in that show, and I was like, yeah, there's that statue. It's such a beautiful statue. I mean, I'm not religious whatsoever, but it's this huge statue underwater, and thank God I swam in high school because it's buoyant. So when you swim underwater, it's so hard to take the picture because you have to push on the thing so hard.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder than you think because you know, I wasn't scuba diving, I was just snorkeling. So
Oh.
it was about 15 feet that I had to swim under there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was intense, but it was so worth it.
With that camera, like,
I know,
it's crazy.
It was terrifying. It was
And
terrifying.
if you lose that, like, you gotta.
it's done.
Oh
Dang.
man.
Is
done.
there an artist that you want to take a picture of that you haven't gotten a chance to?
I want to take portraits of Jay-Z.
Okay.
True.
Yeah, because I mean, and Kanye. Because then that stems down to all my favorite artists. Because
Yeah.
you know, I keep talking about Travis Scott, but then you got to talk about Kanye, Jay-Z, all them, the Good Music family.
What interests you so much about like the hip hop scene?
I mean, I love hip hop.
Yeah.
Um,
Is it more the artist or is
but
it?
I just got kind of thrown into it in a
Okay.
way.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
I mean, it was I got all these opportunities, and it was great opportunities, and I still to this, I mean, I love it. I mean, I love the culture of it. I don't love the politics.
I see.
You know, like at festivals, it'll be like, oh, yeah, all day, yeah, you're fine, and then later in the day, after everyone's exhausted, no, get out of here, get the F out of here. That's just like, oh my God, okay.
And do you think that there's like this movement of glorifying like hard drugs in the scene? Is that something that you see whether you're backstage or anything, or do you see it differently?
No, I mean, I don't see it backstage at all. I mean, they say that, but I mean, but I'm not, you know, I see pictures of people in Atlanta and things like that. It's a little different, but around Baltimore and around like the festivals and things like that, I think the artists are so focused on killing the festival that they're not really doing that backstage. But you know, I mean, I can't.
Yeah, I guess just like recently.
I
just
think the
hearing, like,
music
these-
is there, but
What is it, Little Peep?
Lil
Was it?
Peep, yeah.
Yeah, him, and then like hearing like Little Pump, and there's the what is it, Lil Xanny or something? I don't even know.
I don't
like
know.
there's
Lil Xan.
Lil
Lil
Xan.
Xan,
Like
yeah.
I'm like, whoa, what's going on? But
Yeah, it's, I don't know.
Is there another like avenue that you would want to take pictures of?
Yeah,
Oh,
wildlife.
Wildlife. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah,
Those
that
are-
underwater stuff. Like, I went when I was at A3C. The aquarium has whale sharks, and I'm not into aquariums really at all. But I had to see, I had to see the whale sharks. And there's 3 of them in the Atlanta Aquarium, and I took pictures of those too. I mean, I love wildlife photography. I love wildlife photography.
Would you say? Do you think that?
I would give up hip hop in a second.
Really?
Wow.
That's so cool.
Wow.
To shoot for like National Geographic.
Is that like kind of what you're going for, or
Yeah.
that's your overall goal?
Yeah, but it's really hard because you know.
Yeah, how are you
there's-
working towards that?
I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I got a viral video of 2 acetique horses. You know, if nobody knows what acetique is, it's an island full of wild horses. But
Oh yeah, I've been there.
City.
Dude, the
I-
horses are scary.
yeah, but I got a perfectly symmetrical picture of a blind mother and a baby
That's crazy.
that's now hanging up at acetique.
Dude, I hate that island
Wow.
so much.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful, but they're scary.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, you got to check that
How'd
one
you
out.
get them to hang up your picture?
I gave it to him.
Oh,
I
that's
was,
so nice.
I was like, here you go. But, and then I tried to, the Department of Interior Design gave me a thing in the mail that said, oh, we hung up your picture. Go there. They're closed on the weekends. I was like, brought my grandparents there. I'm like, oh my gosh,
Dang.
this stinks. Still have yet to see it.
Yeah.
So aside from that situation that you had that you mentioned in the beginning where you took bad pictures, is there any like really awkward encounters you've had with celebrities?
So
like,
many.
Like what's like your like most cringiest situation?
Like biggest regret or
Yeah,
something.
like the most cringe.
I think it's like when you get disappointed when somebody's like, I can't think of something right off the top of my head, but when you talk to somebody and then you know they don't want to talk back. You know, I learned earlier in the career that you know they might be having a bad day, they might be going through a divorce or something. Everyone's human, but at the same time you get really disappointed if that one person's there and you're ready to talk to them, you're right in their face, and then they're just like, not right now. It's like, oh man.
Who do you think has been the biggest like a-hole of a
Yeah, that
celebrity?
was literally my question.
Man, there was one that I remember that I just don't. 21 Savage was funny because I kept asking him for a portrait, and then
He's
I
like,
had
21.
I had literally I had 1 second because he looked at me and then looked away.
Oh.
Because I was.
Was
like,
it just like a mean mug?
It was
like,
2 seconds that he literally looked at me with
21.
all his friends that also have the knife, and I'm like, I got it.
Oh, nice.
I got it, but I was like, man, that was funny. Yeah, he's his personality in his songs, I feel like matches
Oh,
his
really?
real personality. It seems different now that he's with Amber Rose,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to think of that one person. Kendrick was like right in front of me one time, and I had my camera up, and Top Dog. There's a guy in Top Dog.
oh, his name's Top Dog?
Yeah, he's kind of runs the whole thing,
Okay.
and he's like, "You take one picture, I'm gonna throw your camera to the ground." I was
Oh
like,
my gosh.
"All right."
No.
I respect that man to the fullest though, because he built that
Yeah.
whole thing up, and I was like, "All right, sounds good."
But wouldn't you think that they want like?
I got
publicity
pictures
and
of him,
stuff?
like when he performed. So I'm happy. So, but
God, that's scary.
So do you like kind of expect
Michael
that
Phelps
from-
did that to me too.
Really?
Wait,
Yeah.
really?
He said that to you?
No.
Yeah, he said, "You
Don't
take
take
one
pic-
more picture, I'm gonna throw your camera to the ground."
Why?
God.
Yeah, in Baltimore. Yeah.
What?
Who knows? Who
That's
knows?
so disappointing.
Well, I didn't know it was him, and I was at a club taking pictures, and I guess
Oh, it was at a
that was-
club.
yeah,
Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay, okay. That
yeah.
makes a
And then I
little
just
bit
see
more sense.
an arm go like this, and I was just like, "Whoa, somebody wants a picture," and then I just see him, and I'm like, "Oh, jeez." And then
Damn.
he says that, I'm like, "Whoa."
He's at the club,
I was-
turning up.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm gonna take one picture of you and your friends, and then I'm out, because you know the club owner is gonna be mad
Yeah.
if I don't take a picture of you, and he agreed, and I got it. So,
Oh, so you were working for the club that night?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, true.
Mm-hmm.
What's like a moment that you really, really want to capture? Like we were asking you earlier, like what's an artist that you'd really want? But is there like, it seems that even hip hop is not that crazy of a deal to you, even though it sounds like you have fantastic stories. What's a moment that you would really want? Whether it be like, you know, a cover on some big Time magazine or whatever.
It's kind
or-
of cliche, but what's that that color festival in like India, or not?
Holy.
Holy.
That's the one.
Mm.
I really want to take pictures of that.
People do them on
Yeah.
college campuses
Yeah. They do 'em
every
all the
semester.
time.
But do you want
I
straight
don't want.
to India?
I want that one,
Okay.
and running of the pools, things like that. Like,
Okay.
Oh,
and
That's awesome.
Do you travel?
yeah, but not I
For
mean,
hip hop stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I pay for all that stuff. That's
Oh, really?
That stuff
Wow.
I still pay for. I mean, I get in,
Yeah.
I mean, I got an in, but I still pay for all that stuff.
Like you have to cover your own travel and gas and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Are you like freelancing for the most part with all these different places?
Yep, most of the time Jason is the
usually
one
how
that
it is?
allows me to shoot for them, but yeah, you know, until I get a set thing in, you know, I haven't been comped for like hardly any of them.
Would you be like a full-time photographer for like a certain celebrity if that came?
Any of them, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would love to do that.
Sure.
But you know,
most of them have like
that time hasn't come yet. It's hard because it's Baltimore.
Yeah.
Like who from Baltimore has really made it out of here yet?
Mm-hmm.
And
true.
people from Atlanta have their photographers that they've known forever. People from, I mean, I know, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, almost every Baltimore rapper that's making any type of noise.
What were your peers thinking, like when you were, you know, starting to take pictures with these? You know, like your family members, friends.
My family members still don't get it.
Really?
They still don't get it.
Your
Or
friends
anyone
must go
like
crazy over it though.
Nah.
No,
No?
they don't
Nah.
think that.
I mean, they think it's cool, but
Yeah.
They're just like, oh, you know, it's him.
because I try to talk, you know, they're my friends, so
Yeah.
I try to talk about it with them.
Yeah.
And they're so sick of me here. You know, they're so sick of me saying like, oh yeah, you know this, you know.
Oh,
But-
I
Charlie,
spoke
okay,
with
you're
Richard
so cool.
Guy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Sorry
All right,
for
I'm done.
sharing this experience.
So you know, I got no way to talk about this stuff with, so it's nice to be here.
Is it do you think a practical business? I mean, for hearing like these types of stories and experiences and the big names that you've gotten, it sounds like, for us at least, like this is success. But what do you think?
It's success to an extent. I mean, I really, really want to be able to support myself comfortably, and it still is not at the point where I can really, you know, live where I want to live comfortably. You know, I don't want to be in Baltimore forever.
But you sound like you're very passionate about, you know, art, music,
Very.
fashion, in general. So what would you tell somebody who has similar interests to this, from your experiences? What can they learn?
Continue to meet people. Continue to meet everyone you can. Never be cocky. That's the worst. When you see somebody that's just like, oh yeah, get on my level. Like, you know, just those cocky photographers, artists. Like, you know, if your rapper persona is that, then cool. But don't be that way in person. Like, and then a lot of photographers, they'll try to be like rappers on Instagram or social media, and then it's so awkward when you see somebody that's just like, yeah, get on my level. Like, shut up. Like, what are you doing? It's so awkward.
I mean, it sounds like there's, in a way, research going into this too, because you have to keep up with what's going on, listen to whatever music is going on. Is that true?
I'm like, I follow all the people that follow me, so Complex, Genius, things like that.
Got it.
I mean, I stay on top of if someone, and same like remember, like I said, like Migos, like I didn't even know who Travis Scott was before that, and like things like that is just like, it just pops up. Honestly, Lil Peep was one of the biggest ones that I was just like, I didn't really know how big he was until he died. And I'm kind of sad about that. Cause
Did you get pictures of him?
I could have, but I didn't know who he was,
Oh.
and we were in the same place at the same time, and now I'm like, damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Those are mature.
yeah.
Do you have any final remarks, and want to put out like your social media and stuff like that, where people can find you? Or
You can find me on Instagram at Charlie Peacher, not Preacher, like the fruit.
Peacher, like the
Yeah.
fruit?
Okay.
All right, SHAH-AMEER.
If you were to describe yourself in any flavor, what flavor would it be and why?
It would be a peach flavored,
I saw that coming.
because my name is Charlie Peacher.
We need a better reason than that.
Yeah,
Come
we
on.
need a flavor that you think.
Think deep. Like
That's been
Th-
my
that-
whole entire life. That's my logo. That's everything. Is peach.
So
What does
do you
the
feel like
peach-
you
what does the
identify
peach
with the
represent
peach?
to you?
My name is Charles Arthur Peacher III. Like, that's my name.
Peacher
Like,
III.
That's crazy.
You
It
need something more,
it
though.
represents my whole life.
Like you're soft
the-
on
like-
the outside, you
Like,
have
I'm
a
making
core.
I'm
Like, what
making
is it? What
shirts
is
right
it?
now that have a peach on it. Like, it's-
He's the next Apple.
the next album.
like that's kind of, you know, the direction. Like, I kind of embrace it, but the thing is, like, everyone thinks my name's Preacher.
Do you eat peaches a lot?
No.
Do you use the peach emoji a lot?
Yes.
Oh.
That one makes sense. Do you like peach flavored things?
Yeah. Well,
Yogurt?
I'm lactose intolerant. I was gonna say I love peach flavored like dairy products, but I can't eat them anymore.
How do you feel
Rest
about
in
the
peace.
peach being used as a booty?
I love it. Embrace it.
All right. Well, I guess we'll accept that.
Yeah.
That's enough reasoning for it. But yeah, Charlie, dude, this was so much fun.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
Thank you
it
for
was
coming
fun.
on.
Yeah.
We're still blown away by this, but yeah, thanks for coming on. It was awesome. We wish you the best of luck with everything.
Thanks, guys. Thanks
Yeah,
for having me.
Of course. And thank you all for listening to another episode of Strange Flavors. It's been another week, another flavor, a little less stranger. We'll see you next time.
She telling me I'm changing, I already know. She said my art was moving, that's I'm Van Gogh. If you're riding with me, let's